So I wanted to make one more video utilizing the revolution tool, but this time I want to use the axis a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and start a new design. And let's start a sketch on our front face. Grab our circle tool, lock it onto the center, drag, and let's tell this circle to be 1 inch in diameter. And let's zoom in, grab our line tool, but this time instead of drawing a line through the center of our circle, I'm going to draw it over here off to the left side. And I want to make it a vertical line. Now you'll notice if I get it close to vertical, it'll automatically magnetize as a vertical line. You can even see a little constraint pop up saying it is vertical. And so if I click and hit escape on my keyboard, you'll see this line is stuck vertical. But if I mess it up, so let's go ahead and hit undo, and I'm going to draw this line again. And this time I'm not going to draw it vertical and hit escape, but my line is still close to vertical. I can go to my vertical constraint and select my line and make it vertical after the fact. And I'm going to right click and hit cancel. And you'll notice this line is not fully constrained, and that makes sense. I can change its size and I can change its location. But actually I want to work backwards. I want to fully constrain it after I use my revolution tool. And so I'm going to go to finish sketch, hit the home button on my view cube, and I'm going to find my revolve tool. Make sure your circle is selected as your profile, and make sure your line is selected as your axis, and let's see what happens. I'm going to hit the home button on my view cube to center it, and you can kind of see what happens. It takes our circle profile and revolves it around that center line. I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to go back inside this sketch, right click and hit edit, and I'm going to move my line closer to my circle and hit finish sketch, and I'm going to try the revolve tool again. And so make sure you have your axis selected and make sure you have your circle selected as your profile. And now you can see it kind of makes this weird donut shape. And that makes sense because the line is closer to our circle, so it should have a smaller revolution radius. I'm actually going to make sure that it's a full revolution and hit OK. And so now I have a full revolution, but I can still go back into my sketch and edit it. So I'm going to right click on my sketch, go to edit sketch, and I can move this line around still. And so if I move it farther out and I hit finish sketch, you can see what happens. It makes a wider revolution. And so I'm going to go back into my sketch again, and I'm going to give this an actual dimension, this distance between this line and this circle. So I'm going to go to my dimension tool. I'm going to select my line and the center of my circle, and I'm going to tell them to be 5 inches apart and hit finish sketch. And what if I don't like that distance? I can go back in and edit it again. So go to edit sketch, and I can change this to 6 inches and hit enter, hit finish sketch. And that looks about right because I actually want to try to make a ring from the video game Sonic the Hedgehog. But you'll notice that our sketch is not fully constrained. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's right click and edit the sketch. And you'll see that both our circle and our line are black, and so it looks like it's fully constrained. But if I click on my line, I can drag it in the vertical direction, and I can change its length in the vertical direction. So I can change the length, I can move it way up here. And now if I finish my sketch here, you'll see nothing fundamentally changes in our revolution because nothing fundamentally changed to our axis. It's still in the same location. The radial distance is still the same. And so let's go back into our sketch. And so these other dimensions don't actually matter. They don't contribute to our revolution in any way. This vertical location dimension or the length of our line. Those two dimensions don't actually matter when it comes to a revolution. But still, we're going to go ahead and add those dimensions because it's proper practice to fully constrain your sketch. So let's go ahead and hit dimension. And let's select our line. And let's tell it to be 2 inches in length. Right click cancel, and let's make sure this line is centered with our circle, and then grab our dimension tool again, and you'll notice that it's trying to re-measure our line. That's because I already had the line tool selected when I hit dimension, and so if I hit escape on my keyboard, you'll see this line is already selected. So if I hit dimension right now, it automatically wants to give me the length of that line. So I'm going to hit escape, and I want to deselect this line by hitting escape on my keyboard again. Now you can see the line is not selected. I'm going to hit dimension. I'm going to select the bottom of my line, and I'm going to select the center of my circle. and I want to drag it over here to the right. And you can see that this is a distance between the bottom of my line and the center of my circle. I'm going to click and type in 1 inch to completely center it. And now you'll see we have a fully constrained sketch. And so I'm going to go to Finish Sketch. And the last thing I want to do is make it look like an actual ring from the game Sonic the Hedgehog. And so I'm going to right click on my ring and go down to Appearance. Or of course you could just hit A on your keyboard. That would also bring up your Appearances tab. And I like the shininess aspect of this material already chosen, so I'm not going to change the material. I'm just going to double click on the material, change it to a more yellow color, and then make it go to a more gold yellow color. Hit Done. Close out my Appearances tab. And I have a gold ring from the video game Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm going to go ahead and go to Save and call it Sonic Ring. And hit Save. And we are done with this shape.